People think guns are expensive. Guns are not expensive. Getting good with guns is expensive, okay? Do I wish that I had six-pack abs? Yeah, but you know what I like more than six-pack abs? Burritos and hot wings. If I'm this guy and I'm backing up slowly, am I the aggressor? Perfect day zone hit. 119. Let's talk about contact distance. This is something that doesn't get trained a lot. It doesn't get taught a lot. It doesn't get practiced as much as it should, in my opinion. I'm fortunate that I belong to a range where I can do this sort of thing. There are a lot of places that you'll have a really hard time convincing them to let you do this. I understand that. If you can't do it live, do it dry. Set up a target on your wall with an empty gun and practice on your own. There's a lot of indoor ranges and stuff that they're not going to let you do this stuff. I understand that. But I'm going to demo it anyway. I think it's really important. Let's try the PDP from classic shoot from two retention position at contact distance. Why does this matter? So let's talk about statistics for a second. Everybody has a home defense gun, right? I got a home defense shotgun. Yeah. I got a 12 gauge 870 SBS. You guys have seen it on the channel. Man, that thing's so awesome. Love it. All right, so how much violence from people that do not know each other occurs in your house? What's the chances that someone's going to come into your house with a home invasion and you're going to get to use that super tricked out long gun? Less than 10%. And honestly, of that less than 10%, most of those statistics are generated by people who are in gangs or they're involved in drugs. If you want to cut down your chances of home invasion, don't be in a gang and don't be in the drug scene, and your chances of home invasion go down to way less than 10%. Okay? In the real world, especially in cities like Houston, over 40% of all violence that is between people that don't know each other, not like domestic violence and, boyfriend, girlfriend type stuff, but strangers coming up and committing violence to you, over 40% of it happens where? At your car door, in transitional spaces like gas stations and the Walmart parking lot. Okay? Again, citing John Corey at Active Self-Protection, fantastic channel. He's reviewed thousands of these things. He's watched like 40,000 shootings right now. It's insane, right? Ask John. He'll tell you more. He knows more about it than I do. But this is it's 4 times statistically more likely to happen to you than the guy breaking in your front door in the middle of the night. 4 times as likely. All right, so I think this should be practiced. What happens is, at the gas station, I'm pumping my gas, and this guy walks up to me. He peels himself off the wall where he's been scanning for guys. He sees that I'm driving a nice car. He'd like to borrow that car for the weekend. Thank you very much. Even if he has to stab me to get to it. Maybe he stabs me because he doesn't know how to drive a stick. That's happened before. All right. And he comes up while I'm pumping gas. And before I even recognize or realize that he's there, because I got my head in my phone, I'm answering customer service questions, whatever, right? He's in my space and he's like, hey, man, I need $5 for some bus fare because my sister's sick. And while I'm paying attention to his spiel, okay, he's getting inside my personal bubble. By the time it's registered in my head that this is a bad situation and this guy could mean me ill intent, he's at contact distance, which is where he wants to be. This is how he makes his living. This is how he gets his cars and how he gets his money. He does this all the time. It's my first time. I'm at a disadvantage here. Okay? So, at that point, once he's inside my personal space, you ever met that guy that's a big Tooler Drill fan? Oh, yeah, I never let nobody get closer to me than 21 feet because of the Tooler Drill. Okay, buddy, I'd like to see you shopping for groceries and waiting in line to check out your groceries. I'd like to see you at the post office. I'd like to see you at the gas station. You never let anybody get closer than 21 feet? Are you kidding? Knock it off. That same guy never carries his gun, so you know what he does? This is what he does. Guy comes up to him. that stupid $12 gas station pocket knife comes out. I'm going to cut you. I'm going to kill you, he says. And that guy says, hey, man, back off. I got a $3,000 AR with an EOTech on it at the house, and it's only 10 miles that direction. Is that you? There's too many of you guys out there that are like that right now. Fix it. Okay, I get emotional about this stuff. It matters to me. I have a $3,000 rifle in my safe is not a valid defensive strategy. This is a valid defensive strategy. I don't want trouble. Notice, my hand stayed on my shirt. My arm was back to make it harder for him to grab the gun. In this case, I did not need a dot. I didn't need to aim. First shot 135, 2-3 split, total time 158. Now, to draw and shoot from 2 and hold my hand back here and do all that retention stuff, you'll notice I was slower than I was back there. I'm less practiced at it, and it's more clunky. I got 2 A-zone hits. The gas kind of destroyed the paper. All right, I'm going to show you how it worked. All right, it's clear. These are my 2 A-zone hits. You can see the powder because I was that close. Let's do it again. Once again, we find ourselves at contact distance. I'm about to drop a truth bomb on you guys. Talk to Tom Givens, talk to John Hearn, talk to any of the range master instructors. What's the 4th most popular murder weapon in the United States? The screwdriver. You know why? Because it's not a weapon until it's a weapon. I can be a 3-time felon and carry this around in my pocket, and the police can't do anything about it. Hey, man, I was just going to go visit my buddy down the street, and I was going to help him fix his blinds on his windows. It's not a weapon until it's a weapon. Okay? This is a flathead. It's what I happen to have today. A Phillips head will do the same thing, and I'm going to give you the ugly demo. Now, my draw to first shot that I just showed you was about 1.5 seconds, right? I've set the par time on my packed timer. Do recommend these, by the way. They're great for the money. Helps you to quantify your performance. This currently has a 1-second par time on it. If it took me 1.5 seconds to get off my first shot, what can the bad guy do at contact distance with a screwdriver? Man, I don't practice this, okay? Like, this ain't my weapon of choice. Let's just see what I can do, the fat 49-year-old guy. Give me your money. All right. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stab wounds in his belly that he has to worry about now in 1 second. Not so good. Not so good at all. So knowing that, I have what I call Houston low ready position. Houston low ready position is I'm filling out my car with gas. I have to wait outside. I'm in a transitional space for some reason. And I'm just a normal dude, balding, overweight, almost 50. A normal guy that likes to put his hands in his pockets a lot. You ever wonder why the cops always say, take your hands out your pockets? Take your hands out your pockets. You're about to find out. Let me get rid of this par timer. It's going to throw me. Pack timer, easy to program. Par time's gone. Contact distance. Houston low ready position. Now, I have a master grip on the Snubbie. So half my draw to first shot time, the hard part where I have to make sure my master grip is correct, I've already dealt with that. That's already taken care of. So then I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, hey man, I don't want any trouble. I don't have $5 because I don't carry cash anymore. And then the situation turns sour. All right. Pretty much the same thing as shooting from 2, except I just came up like this and I didn't have to come back. My hand was away. Worst thing you can do is shoot yourself in the hand. This is a DeSantis pocket holster. They're cheap, they're soft. With my finger outside the trigger guard and a double action only snubby, I put the gun back in the holster. Then I put the gun and holster together back into my pocket. I cannot reholster this gun by shoving it in my pocket and fishing around. The entire holster has to come out. First shot, 0.74 with a 0.28 split for a total time of 1:02. So yeah, we're in a nasty fight. He got in several stabs with a blunt object, with a screwdriver. I got in 2 shots of hollow point 38 special. At least I have a fighting chance. Okay? Likely one of us is going to the hospital and the other one's going to the morgue. It's not something that I look forward to. It's not something that I ever hope happens. Guys, I never intend. I've gone 49 years without having to burn somebody down, and I'd like another 49 years if I can get it. I mean it. I have no avarice in my heart to ever do this for real, because I've done enough training and enough classes that I know what my chances are, and they're not good. I just want a fighting chance. The guy who thinks he knows it all and who's got it all figured out, and he's going to John Wick his way out of it when the ninjas attack the local gas station, he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He needs to take more classes, because the truth is, the more you know about this stuff, the scarier it gets. All right. I got 2 shots off in 1 second because I started with my hand with a master grip on the gun. 2 shots in 1 second. Now all of a sudden, that unaccountable 1 second draw to first shot time I was talking about doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter how much of a hurry I am with my primary if I can cheat it and start out at Houston gas station low ready position with a master grip on the revolver. Something to think about. If you want to know more about revolver fighting, go see Brian Eastridge at American Fighting Revolver. Brian Eastridge has forgotten more about this sort of thing than I even know. Let's move on. Now, you might ask yourself, how come you're carrying a 5-shot Snubbie Revolver in 2025? Why not do a modern pocket pistol? Why not do a Glock 42 or a Glock 43 or a SIG P365? Something like that that's still pocketable. You get a nicer trigger. You get more capacity. You know, like, who's doing revolvers in 2025? Well, let me tell you something that I didn't tell you when I had that gun in my hands. Here's my Glock 48. I'm going to double check that it's empty because I'm about to break 2 firearm safety rules. Rule number 1, Colonel Cooper, is treat every gun as if it was loaded. Rule number 2 is never point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. I'm going to break both of those right now, because when I come up and I do that nasty fight that I just showed you where he's got the screwdriver and I've got the gun, I may actually press my gun against his body. He may be coming towards me faster than I can back up or something like that. And I'm at contact distance, so there will be contact. Breaking firearm safety rules. Don't do this at home. If I put my gun up against his body, it can push this gun out of battery. Trigger does not work. It's useless while the gun's pressed up against his body. I have to come back and away, and then the striker will fall. Does that make sense? This means I die. This means maybe I live. So, that, among other things, is one of the things that a revolver does not have a problem with. You cannot push a revolver out of battery. Revolvers also don't have failure to feed, failure to extract, failure to eject, right? None of that stuff matters with a revolver. If I have a light primer strike, I just pull again, and it goes right to the next cylinder, and I have another round to try again. I don't have to do the whole, hold on. Okay. Revolvers still have a place in 2025. This is the Glock 48. It is easy to carry. It is easy to hide. I carry it in a Dark Star Gear holster with 2 pads on it. because it's a very wide holster and it was digging into my leg a lot, I put a second pad from Filster on it. So I still run pads. I don't carry this a lot, so it still has the plastic clips on it. I don't know how much I trust those, and they need to be upgraded at some point when I get around to ordering some hardware for it. Just always keep forgetting. I'm going to run a bill drill here at 5 yards. A bill drill is not necessarily a super valid defensive maneuver, but it does show, it gives you a good idea of how well you can run a gun, how fast you can shoot it, how fast you can get your hands on the gun. So it's basically from the draw, I'm going to put 6 shots in the A zone to the best of my ability on the timer. I have no par time. Bill drill at 5 yards, 6 rounds, and let's see how fast I can go with the PDP. All right. All hits are in the A zone. First shot 176, not my best effort. Total time 3.26 seconds. 6 shots from concealment, 3.26 seconds, all A zone hits. Not terrible. I'm vertically stringing, so I've got hits like this. That's okay because there's a spine here. Vertical stringing is more acceptable than horizontal stringing. So, with that being done, all right, my total time was 3.26. Let's change guns. This gun is still loaded, but I'm going to take it out in the holster. There's nobody else here. All the gunfire you're hearing in the background is at other bays. So I will not be pointing these guns at anything except my own hand, apparently. The things I do for you. Okay, Glock 48 holster is in position. Same reholstering technique. Now, this gun is really easy for me to hide. This gun prints very, very little. So maybe I should carry this gun more, because I tend to tell myself it doesn't really matter that much if I print, because 90% of people just have their heads in their phones anyway. They're not really paying attention to me or my waistline. I don't really stand out that much. I mean, I can walk around the whole grocery store and open the door for women, and they walk right through, and they don't even notice I'm there. I'm as noticeable as a potted plant, I'm the gray man, but it's true. So maybe it doesn't matter if I print that much, but it does matter to the 0.0001% of real bad guys who are constantly scanning and looking to see if anybody's armed, so they can take them down first when they start some bad stuff. The real bad guys who do it for a living and who are all about that life, they might notice. Something to think about. But here's the problem with the Glock 48. And I'm not gaming this. I'm going to do the best I can. Yeah, I'll take that. That was a good run. Good, clean run. I saw the dot every time. I'm down to a 3 MOA dot now. 3 MOA dot in red with the Valor Mini. Valor Mini is awesome because it's super tough and it's easy to keep clean. I never have to worry about the emitter getting dirty. All right, so gun, it's dirty. I'll just take my t-shirt, rub the back window, rub the front window. There we go. And we're clean. We're good. Right? Don't ever have to worry about anything getting the emitter. But it's a smaller window, and I'm down to just a dot. First shot was over 2 seconds, 2.05. And then I actually shot really well, and my total time is 3.72. So I'm still under 3.75 seconds. It's about as good as I can shoot that gun. It's a good demo. But I'm slower with this gun. I'm not as sure. My grip's not as good. I'm not quite as accurate. I can't shoot quite as fast. This gun, as distance increases out to 20, 25, 50 yards, gets pretty sketchy, even with the dot. Not nearly as comfortable shooting at at extended ranges as I am with this thing. With the nice trigger and a big grip, lots of capacity. Right? I'm down to 10 rounds here. But I can still get the job done. That's the Glock 48. It's a very valid option. It's a very popular option. The only thing that I really don't like about the Glock 48 is that it chews up this finger for me. I got Glock knuckle real bad. So that impacts how much training time I get with it, because I really generally only train until this blister pops, right? I wish Glock would do what all the aftermarket companies have already done and fix their grip to where it doesn't do that anymore. Glock, hear me. That's the G48 single stack. I am now carrying the big Chonkus 17+1 service pistol, the VP9 Tactical, which is a gun that I dearly, dearly love. I have two gripes about it. It's a little flippy. It's not easy to shoot flat. And there's something about the trigger reset that I don't like. It kicks you out past the wall. That's a snob thing. I'm a trigger snob. Don't worry about it. VP9, excellent gun. Again, I carry it in a Dark Star holster, very similar to what you've seen before. It has the pad. It's on me right now, and depending on what happens with the sun and the shadows, you may be able to see it or not. But this gun has Mediator 2 on it, because big, chonky, military-grade VP9 deserves a big, chonky, super tough, acro footprint, fully enclosed emitter, indestructible dot. Makes sense to me. So that's what it wears. But the problem is, while I can get away with carrying the Omega on the PDP Compact, I really need something to cover this up. You can see right here, depending on what the sun does, it's a big square, the toaster of doom that is on top of my slide. And I just can't recommend, Mediator 2 for t-shirt carry like this. Man, for all kinds of other stuff, it's great, but it's really hard to hide. Okay, so I wanted to address that. Now, the other thing I want to demo with this is you see me shoot bill drills and all that stuff. I don't want this to last forever. Nighttime. Nighttime is the right time. So I don't run a weapon light on my guns for civilian legal reasons, civilian use case. Again, I love the idea of weapon lights on police guns. Every police gun should have a weapon light. Great idea. Because you know what? They have to chase bad guys, and they get to pull their guns out first, activate weapon lights, and then clear spaces like a SWAT team. They get to do that. If I pull this gun out and I activate a light and I'm looking around with it, is there a lethal threat right now that I can articulate to a judge and a jury? Not really. Am I pointing the gun at something that I know to be a lethal threat? Or am I using it as a flashlight to try to find, hey, what's that over there? Maybe it's a kid. I don't know. That's why I'm pointing a flashlight at it. But I'm also pointing a gun at it because the light's attached to my gun. Does anybody else see how that could get me in legal trouble? So here's what I do. If there's no threat, but there could be a threat. If there's a guy who's coming at me across the parking lot and I spot him, but he's not a lethal threat to me yet, I come up here and I index to my head. And I squeeze this light. You may not even be able to see that it's on, depending on the lighting. But it's up here and I'm like, hey man, what can I do for you? Right? I can hear you fine just from here. I don't need you to get any closer. Just stay right there, okay? Here's another little secret. Odyssey Training. They do low light classes. Odyssey Training. Excellent instructor. You can create a photonic barrier with a flashlight where I aim this thing and I'm aiming it to where I'm shining a beam of light between me and that guy. They don't want to cross into that light. Also, cops do this all the time. They always have lights out. They're always shining lights at guys' feet, right? So that makes you an authority figure to the bad guy, because he's seen this before with a guy that had a gun and a badge and a uniform on. He's seen this the last 3 times he got arrested before he was released on double secret probation again. So if you do this, you put him in a mental mode of, oh, this is like the guy that arrested me last time. Maybe you avoid a fight in the first place, maybe you don't have to draw your gun at all. Maybe at worst, I go to a position where I have my hand on the gun like this. I have a master grip now. I'm not brandishing my gun. I'm not pointing it at anybody that's not a lethal threat, but I'm ready. I have a master grip, and I have my flashlight on you. What are you doing over there? Step away from my car. Does that make sense? And then if I have to, let's make sure I'm actually chambered, which I'm not. I'm going to go get a loaded mag. Okay, so let's play this out. I'm pumping gas in the gas station. It's 11:30 at night. Shouldn't be out this late, but it is what it is. Guy peels himself off the wall, comes up to me, and it's Screwdriver Guy. Okay? So, I'm going to light him up with my flashlight. Hey, I can see you. I can hear you. Don't come any closer. We can talk just like this. I don't need you any closer than that. Hopefully my photonic barrier, my tone of my voice, all that stuff works. If you don't know what I'm talking about, take a class. These are all things that I'm doing to try to prevent having to shoot the guy. But none of it works. So, this sucks. I've already got my weapon light up here. My draw will be slower. Now, Mediator 2 has a selectable reticle. You got your dot, your circle dot, and your circle without the dot. Which one do I prefer? Which one's in it now? Drum roll, please. The circle dot. Same reasons I explained earlier with the circle dot that I have on my Omega with the PDP compact. Okay, so I did not have the opportunity to grab my shirt, get out of the way with my support hand because I was using that to illuminate the bad guy. I still managed to get an A-zone hit in 1.83. So I'm still faster than I am with the Glock 48. Big guns are easier to shoot well, guys. They just are. Okay? So everything's a compromise. Okay? And sometimes you have to make compromises based on what you're legally allowed to do. I'm not going to pull a gun out while I'm trying to talk to a guy and identify if he's a threat or not and point a freaking gun at him while he's way over there and just trying to talk to me and run through his spiel about how he needs money. Not cool. All right, so the legal system put me at a disadvantage there. I must train to work around it because I don't have a badge. I don't have qualified immunity either. So when it goes south, it's not the taxpayer that's going to be paying when I screw up. It's going to be my family. Anyway, that's the VP9. That is the flashlight. I like a head index. I used to do a neck index. What I found was too much of the light from my flashlight would hit the back window of my optic, and if it wasn't clean, I would see like a ton of distracting lint and fingerprints and stuff, and it's just really ugly. If you're running an iron sight gun, you can do it, and you can use the neck index to illuminate your sights. That's handy. If I come up here, the light's going over my dot, and I'm not shining it in the back of my window anymore. That's why I prefer a head index over a neck index when I'm running a dot. Take a low light class. Take a low light class. I'm barely scratching the surface. If you think you know something because you watch this video, you don't. I'm just trying to give you something to think about. Okay, it's just about 6 p.m. And so you probably have noticed that the lighting's changed because the sun's going down. Been out here for a while. I do want to say that every demo that I've shot for you today has been the only one. I did not have any screw ups that I deleted and came back and did again. What you see is what you get, for better or for worse. These videos are hard enough to make in the first place. And I bring that up because I am a firm believer that performance on demand is the only performance that matters. I don't care how good you are after a 3-hour session that you recorded the whole thing and then put the best 10 seconds of it on Instagram so you look like a superhero. Good for you. I'm not interested. The only performance that matters is, in my opinion, what I've done for you today, which is That demo that I shot with the Glock 48 is the only 6 rounds I shot with the Glock 48 all day. So I have some sort of understanding and belief that if it came down to it, that is the sort of performance I would get, or hopefully something close to that, because I wasn't warmed up and I hadn't done a bunch of reps and thrown 100 rounds downrange before I even took the camera out. And I think that's important to acknowledge in a video like this. I may not be the fastest guy you've ever seen. I may not be the most accurate guy you've ever seen, but I am honest. The 1911. I love the 1911. This is my last samurai. I belong to the warrior in whom the old ways have joined with the new. TRP operator, Springfield, and it's in a another Dark Star gear holster. Frankly, I think it's super cool that Tom at Dark Star will do a modern appendix Kydex 1911 holster at all. Thank you, Tom. Super cool. But let's just compare. See, the problem, I'm going to run the bill drill. The problem with the 1911 now is that I have 2 manual safeties. I have the thumb safety that has to come off at the right time. Okay, if I take the thumb safety off while the gun's still in the holster and I'm getting a master grip, I run the risk of Tex Grebnering myself.
I just shot myself.
I must do my draw, get a master grip, come out. The thumb safety comes up somewhere here after the gun is already pointed downrange, such that if the gun went off, it would strike or have a reasonable chance of striking the target. The safety stays on the entire time this dropping of the elbow is happening, and it comes off there. Boom. And you're going to see an iron sight performance with 45 ACP. So I'm at that disadvantage too. I love 45, but it recoils more. Gun's going to be more flippy. And I'm on iron sights now. No dot. Also, this thing's a boat anchor. The main reason that I don't carry it is because it weighs so much. It just weighs down my belt line. So what do? I tighten my belt a ton, and I'm like tourniqueting my fat belly to hold the 1911 in place. And it's just not comfortable. Even with the pad, it's not that comfortable, so it doesn't get carried. Also, probably for reasons I'm about to show you. Performance on demand, bill drill 6 rounds at 5 yards. Last rounds of the day, Mike. Okay. I pulled one slightly low left of the A zone, just barely. Not a line break, but really freaking close. So it's 5 out of 6 in the A zone. That's probably a grip strength thing in my support hand. Got to work on my support hand. I had good safety. I had good accountability. The safety came off at the right time. I had a good iron sight picture with each shot. Unfortunately, my bill drill first shot 217 and total time 413. First shot 217, total time 413, which means as much as I really enjoy shooting this big, full-size, heavy, steel frame, 2 World Wars, 1911 gun, yeah, I'm slower and less accurate than I was with the Glock 48 that I don't even like that much. So sometimes it's not about what you like, it's about what you can perform with. Headshots. 2 in the same hole. But how much does that really matter? I'm slower and I'm not as accurate. It doesn't matter if I can show off slowly. It matters if I save my life. Hopefully you have found this video to have some truth bombs. Hopefully it has made you think about how you're carrying your guns, what guns you're carrying, how you're training, what you're doing. Be safe. You can't save everybody. You can't save America. You might be able to save yourself and your family. Get to work.